My name is Stephen Rafferty, and you're watching/listening to These Are Questions. This is the interview show where I ask people questions about things, life, and such not. And today we're in this beautiful studio here, and I am with an incredibly talented musician, songwriter, and singer as she's getting ready and getting more in depth with her professional endeavors. Please welcome to the studio, Nathasha Rumbos.
Ooh, hello.
Hello.
I'm feeling great. I love the vibe right here. I think we're gonna have some great things to talk about.
Yes, definitely there. And I'm excited to work and talk with you in today's interview on These Are Questions. So thanks for being a part. Before we get into the interview itself, I just want to ask you real quick, Nathasha, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. It's going to be based around your career and aspirations, along with a mixture of questions that are borderline idiotic and, well, randomly stupid. Do you accept those terms?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Bring it.
Internet, are you ready? Can take that as a yes. With that, let's begin our interview. So, thank you again for being a part of These Are Questions. I really do appreciate it, Nathasha. Thank you for taking the time. It means a lot. I want to start off by just asking about your beginnings into music, and I want to learn more about how you got into the musical arts. Specifically, I want you to tell your journey on becoming a successful musician, singer, and songwriter.
Yes, so everything started off with a saxophone.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so when I was in middle school, I've always wanted to be involved in music somehow. So, you got your school band, you can do theater. So I decided, you know what? I really want to learn the saxophone. I like singing, but I love the saxophone, love how it, sounds. So let me go and audition for the school band. So, I mean, not audition, you choose and then you get to choose your instrument, right? So I was so focused. I'm like, the saxophone. I want the saxophone. Sadly, my last name starts with an R. So usually in school, they pick with the first letter of the last name. They get the first pick. And by the time that it got to me, there was no saxophones left. So I ended up having to pick up the French horn. That nobody wanted the French horn. So French horn is an amazing instrument, hard instrument. But so I got the French horn. I was super sad. And I was like, damn, I really want to learn the saxophone. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just take advantage of this. Let me learn this French horn. So, we started doing concerts. I ended up hating playing the French horn. It was just not for me. Yeah. It was not for it wasn't meant to fit with my character. So we used to perform with this this girl singer from high school. They would bring her in. She would be the vocalist. And I always looked up to her and I was like, damn, I want to do that. I want to be her, So just after I graduated from, school, middle school, went to high school, I was like, I want to audition to be the choir. And I've always got told, Nathasha, you have such a good voice. You are an entertainer. I've always been the person that loves the center of attention, or kind of if people aren't doing anything, it's okay, guys, let's do something. I'm always on the move. So I was like, let me audition for the choir. Got into the choir and we started doing classical music and really learning techniques on vocalizing. And I was I always felt inside, I'm I need to be doing music. This feels right, So I did choir for all my 4 years of high school. And, it taught me a lot about myself. You see me that I'm a very outgoing person, but I feel back then I was a little bit less of that. Mm-hmm. And the choir, everything opened up for me. Music opened up my personality, getting rid of my stage fright, getting rid of talking to people. And it just kind of became the right thing to be you know what, I should really go with this as a career, really go for it. And I'm so grateful that I had my parents, most my mom, she was very supportive from me from the get-go. Whatever you want to do, if it's entertainment, I'm here to support you. So
that's great.
Yes, yeah. That's very important and needed, because sometimes that's a huge reason why artists don't continue on doing it, upcoming artists, because they don't have that support. So I'm glad I had that support. And I was like, I want to be an opera singer. I was like, I want to study classical music, because that's something that we were really focused on. And I was like, wow, this is very beautiful and interesting, music from the 60s and Beethoven and Mozart. And it's wow, So I was like, I want to be an opera singer. And this is where things go. My music career has been having ups and downs, but it wouldn't be one if it didn't. That's something that we all have to go through and have to deal with it. So once I got I got accepted into started doing a bunch of different auditions. There was only one school that accepted me into their school of music, and it was and it was so expensive. I mean, everybody here knows how tuition is insane. And yes, like $50K. Well, that was back in the day. Who knows? Maybe it's more now, but $50K a semester for
I can tell you. I'm not going to say the exact number, but it's more than that. I'll
Yeah.
just say that.
Yeah. So, it was at a point that I was so excited. I was like, okay, like this is the school that can actually like really teach me everything I need to know to be able to become an opera singer. And, it took a realization that my mom she's a single mom, so she couldn't afford to take me to that school. And and that was the only school that accepted me in music. So I was just like, I was so devastated. And that's when I started getting in my head, which is the worst thing you could do, because then you're sabotaging yourself. You're self-sabotaging. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a sign from the universe that I should not be doing music, and maybe I should just switch my career. So I let go of music. I let go of music when I graduated high school, found out that I couldn't go and learn music. So I kind of was just like, you know what? I'm done. I don't even want to know anything about music. I used to sing at my church's choir, like ever since I was 15. So like 3-4 years singing with them, and I completely like cut off that. Like I was just so hurt inside, and at that moment, I look back, almost 10 years ago, and I'm like, wow, like I wish I wouldn't have had that thought. That the way that I was thinking, I wish that didn't happen, but it led to a lot of beautiful things that happened in the few upcoming years. I went to school, I went to college, didn't do anything with music. Wanted to be a public relations person.
PR person. Okay.
Yes. So I was like, you know what? Maybe it's something I can be a PR person. I can still be involved in music, but me not be the musical artist, and maybe see if that will work. I was so like butthurt about like not being able to go because of financial issues, and I just took it hard on myself. So once I graduated college, did PR, got into corporate, and then I realized this is not for me. Like stuck in an office, like 9 to 5. That was not me. I needed to be out with people. I needed to be conversating with people, not with a computer.
No.
So I was scrolling through Facebook, and I got, those memories like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, memories that pop up.
The little Facebook memories. Yeah,
yes. So one popped up of a song that I did with a friend of mine in high school. We were messing around. We did like this electronic music called Party Till We Die. That was the name of the song. And it was on SoundCloud, and it's still on SoundCloud actually.
Ooh,
so
okay, I'm gonna put it in the descriptions for everyone there on the bottom.
Yes,
because
it's definitely a vibe to listen to it. So that the memory said that, I was like, oh my God, like wow, it's been a long time. Let me click on it. And Steven, let me tell you how I was hearing that song, and it just like a whole flush of emotions, just like if like a tsunami came all over me. Like it was just like the emotions that I felt. I was like, wow, I haven't felt that emotion, that passion in years. I was so miserable. Like my first year out of college working at this, like I was miserable. I literally was thinking about like, maybe I should go to a therapist, because I just felt so sad about my life. I was like, is this the outcome? Is this what it's going to be the next 40 years? This cannot be. And, I started feeling all that, and I was like, I think now this is the time for me to start my music again. So I opened up my YouTube channel. I started doing covers on YouTube channel. That was 2018 that I started. 10 years ago. Wow. That's crazy. 10 years ago. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Well, 10 years ago. Oh my God, almost 10 years.
10.
Sorry,
for
what
record,
am I?
For record on her. Almost
I'm
10.
in the future.
It's okay. Welcome. These are numbers, not these are questions.
Yes.
These are years.
I know. These are years,
These are
literally.
years.
So, wait, bring me back. I just lost my train of thought.
Welcome to These Are Thoughts. We were talking about how you started in 2018, kind of the resurgence back in your career.
Yes. Okay. Boom. Back. So started opening my YouTube, doing covers, and I felt really good about it. I started auditioning for cover bands. So I started working with 2 cover bands at the time. This was like 2019 going into 2020. And we were doing my first like performance after like doing, school performances, like my real real performance was at Bayside. And it was like kind of like a test. It was like an audition for a cover band. And I came in and I was like, I'm going to sing Selena. You know, because everybody loves Selena. Como la Flor, Bidi Bum Bum. So I was like, this is what people want to hear. Cover bands, they want to hear like that type of music. Selena, you can never go wrong with Selena, Celia Cruz, nothing. Olga Tañón. So I was like, let me do that. So I came on stage. I remember because I looked into this crowd and it was packed of like just people just enjoying themselves. And I start, you know, Como la Flor, singing Como la Flor. And then everybody and it was that moment that I was like, this is it. I need to take this. I need to start doing music, and I cannot quit no matter what. And it was just so beautiful. I was singing Como la Flor con tanto amor, and then everybody was like singing along, and like they looked at me like if I was Selena, and it just like it felt so nice to be seen in that moment. Like, wow, like, you know, like you're seeing me, like, yes, I'm singing a Selena song, but it's my voice, you know, and you're enjoying it. So it was just like, Nati, this is the time. Like, you know, yeah, maybe your time back then wasn't your time. It wasn't your time to go into music, but it felt really right, and it still feels right that it's my time to, like, you know, do music. So I started doing, you know, I got hired to be in their cover band. So we did a bunch of shows like in Margaritaville. We did some like golf club shores, and it was awesome. It was awesome. And then the pandemic came.
Forget it. Nobody was working on anything.
Whoa.
Everything just shut down.
So everything was just flowing, and then that happened. And then, you know, no shows. Everybody was locked in. And I was like, okay, so I've been really wanting to get into writing my own original music, because I did not know what type of artist I wanted to be. I know I wanted to do Spanish, but I just wasn't sure what route I wanted to go. So, you know, the pandemic made me realize that, you know, it was time for me to start writing, you know, seeing what will come out, like who am I as an artist. And then I met this producer, DJ Breezy, who has worked with Alex Sensation, with like Justin Quiles, with Amara La Negra, a lot of like Spanish artists. Yeah. And my boyfriend ended up knowing him, and he introduced him to me. And then he's like, I told him like what I wanted to do. I want to do Spanish music, but I don't know if it's reggaeton, if it's a little bit more on the pop side. And we got into the studio, came up with Menea, which is my first song that I ever took out. And it just, I still think about that first day, that first time that we're doing this. And I'm just like, wow, like, this is it. This is it. This is the calling. This is your time and place. This is the calling. Yeah. And, you know, I took out the song during the pandemic, and it had such great response. Everybody was like, oh my God, Natasha, it's been such a long time since we've heard like you sing, you know, like Spanish music. Because I was doing a lot of English covers, and I was like, let me try Spanish. Let me get into my roots. And people started loving it, and it just opened so many doors. To like ended up meeting this guy called Brian, who I do a podcast with. Actually, every Tuesday we do a podcast called Movie Reviews and More. So he kind of opened the door for me to be part of that life, be a co-host, and actually learn about like, wow, I actually like radio too, you know. And it just has led to so many things. Like, it has led to me performing in Las Vegas about 2 years ago during the Latin Grammy Week. Led me to perform in Times Square for, you know, so I look back at it, I'm like, all because of that Facebook post. And look at all the things that I've accomplished as an independent artist, because I'm not signed. I do everything by myself. And, you know, it's hard work, but I've, like for example, like in 2 weeks, I'm performing for the first time in El Festival de la Calle Ocho, which is huge.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Which is freaking huge. Like, to me, I've been manifesting this. I'm a huge manifester. I like to visualize things and really like manifest it, and it has worked out for me. You know, it's all about believing in yourself, and it took a while for me to get to that point where I really genuinely believe in myself that I could actually make this a career and actually be successful in it. So it's been a wild, you know, I kind of did a little summary, but it was a up and down journey, but I'm happy with it.
And I'm happy that you're happy with that, number one. And number two, I'm so excited for you, and just thank you for just going through this extensive story of your career so far. And as many more successes and adventures and experiences are happening for you, I see your kind of status from being a classically trained artist to a musically divine individual. And I'm so happy for you. And like, sky's the limit. Let's make it happen. So,
oh, thank you. That's awesome. Yes.
You're awesome on there. Let's go. Let's go. And break all the legs with Caliocho coming up. So,
oh yeah, I'm creating a medley, so I'm excited because it's gonna be the first time I kind of combine all my music.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be fun, and you're invited. You're not doing anything. It's free for everybody.
Everybody, let's go. We want to make it happen. Let's make it happen there. And speaking of music, I want to just ask you, since you're musically divine, as I just mentioned there, and musically talented, I want to ask, can you beatbox a bartender?
Can I beatbox a bartender?
Yes. So let's say you go to the bar, you can try to order a drink, but you want to order it maybe through the verbiage of beatboxing. Could you do that?
Oh, okay, wait. Maybe I have it wrong, but it's like, okay. It's all coming in my head.
Think about it. You're on the table there, and it's like, I want a whiskey on the rocks, and it's like, okay, boom.
Oh. Hey, I want a Buffalo Trace on the rocks, some sour. Don't forget the cherry. Bring it down. Give me a shot. Cheers.
You just answered my question on there. There we go.
I didn't even know what was going on, but hey, that sounded pretty good.
That's not bad. That's not
bad for being on the spot.
If you put on your Caliocho set, real quick, as a little segue, as a little homage there, I'll be really happy.
Yeah. A little feature in there.
Proves my point of your musical divineness there. So there we go. Let me ask you, Natasha, if you had an eraser, do you think that an eraser can erase all of your problems?
Nah.
No. Okay.
No, definitely not. I mean, it'll erase it from the paper, but they're still there. They're still there.
Also, I rub it really hard. I don't know.
Yeah, like rip a hole. Like usually when you erase really hard and you rip a hole, you're like, damn.
I just want to rip all my problems. No, I don't want that. Okay. I just want to know. You never know. I know you have the musical skills, but maybe you have that skill as well. It's like a special skill. I'm not sure.
I wish I had that skill.
Maybe. You never know. You never know on there. Let me ask this question now. If I don't know if you're a big video gamer, and I'm not going to get too in depth with it, but I want to ask, if you were like transformed into a video game, which video game would you be transformed to, and why?
Whoa, ooh.
No pressure.
I'm not really like a huge like video game person, but the first one that comes up to me is The Last of Us, but that's not how I imagine.
Oh, that's like the one game not to go into. What?
But that's not what I imagine. It's just like, I'm so excited to see the season, and you said that, and it just popped in my head. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to be in that game.
No, don't transform into that one. If anything, everyone's trying to transform out of that game.
Yeah, no. Damn, honestly, it would have to be any of the, like, Super Mario. Okay, I love that. If I could be transformed into being in one of those races, and like, I think that would be really exciting.
Okay, so like fun. Mario Kart, so it'd be like in the actual like car races there.
Yes.
Okay, I can see that. You have your own custom car.
Yes.
Super Natasha Brothers. I don't know.
Yes. Super Tosh. Super Tosh.
Listen, trademark that now. Future merch right there.
The T.
T. Yeah. Let's go. That would be awesome on there. And kind of my last before I jump into kind of additional topics is if you are living in your home, would you want a revolving door installed in your home?
Oh no.
Okay.
No, definitely not. People, no, I be doing some crazy stuff in the house. I don't need people to be.
Just turn around and.
Yeah. Oh snap! No.
What kind of stuff are you doing at the house? What are you doing in there? Besides the music.
No, crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
Your words, not mine. I'm just no, good. Fair enough. If that's the case, yeah, you don't want to have a revolving door. You want a little.
I want to make sure I know who's in that door before. Catch me dancing solo through the kitchen and through the. I do stuff like that. Sometimes I'm just like, to let go. I'm just like, just dance on the couch and just, be free.
Free spirit.
Yes.
I like that there, and I can respect that. now to switch gears, I want to talk about going back to your music, but specifically your music videos. And I want to, say that I've watched a lot of your music videos, and you have some really cool creative content there, and I can't wait to see more projects in the future. But I want to learn about how like an idea is created and like visualized for the creation of a music video. I want to pick your brain and kind of see your creative process on that.
Yeah. So, for example, for Sugar Daddy,
Yeah.
that was I know from the beginning, like when I wrote that song, I was like, this is the theme of Miami. So I want Miami as much as I can in the video. And I wanted to be something fun. I didn't want it to be like a regular, like, okay, like I'm with a sugar daddy. Like, I want it to be like a fun concept. So I kind of thought about it like, okay, what if I dress my boyfriend as a sugar daddy? He doesn't look old, but what if I just put a little funny mustache on him and, kind of bring that like fun element into videos. And that's how it started. We're like, okay, we were gonna in the song it says volando por las calles de Miami con mi sugar daddy and Ferrari. I say Ferrari somewhere. Forgot where I say Ferrari. And I was like, I need to get a Ferrari. I need to get a Ferrari. And at first, my first thought was like, maybe I should turn this into funny and get a car that's not a Ferrari, because like typical.
That actually, yeah.
So then I the whole process was like, okay, like what can I find? Maybe I could use my car because I have a Mazda, but it's a. I call him Greyhound. He's a little Greyhound. He's a fast little Mazda. And I was like, maybe let me use my Mazda, But then I was like, it just didn't match well. So then I ended up going for a Porsche that kind of looked like a Ferrari because it was, cheaper. But the whole process of that was like, okay, how can I make this fun? How can I show Miami? And I had my friend who had given me like, she told me she had bought a drone. And I was like, perfect. Maybe we could get the causeway, driving down the causeway with a Porsche, like very kind of Miami type thing. And I wanted to show the design district too, which is where, kind of like with the fun, where the sugar daddies would take their sugar babies, basically.
Allegedly.
Yes. So that's kind of how the whole concept of that one came out. There was one, I don't know if you saw Que Pasó, but that one was like my most fun one because I, dressed up as an old lady. I did the makeup. Like I wanted to tell the story. And I was like, how I want to be old telling a story about how my friend met her boyfriend at a party. And I was like, let me create something fun with it. And I dressed up, did the whole thing. And that's kind of how I love to think about when it comes to music videos. I'm like, how can I make it kind of out of the box? And when you look at it, you see it, you're like, oh, wow, Natasha, you didn't do such a bad job trying to be like an old person. I was snoring at the end of the video. So, kind of adding in those fun elements.
It was believable.
Yeah.
Yes.
I practiced fake snoring to make it happen.
And it worked.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. I'm glad I was able to dive into a little bit of your creative process and what you want to get into. And I like the kind of central themes of just having a fun, great vibe while telling that story through your music and also through the concepts of the videos, which is great. And speaking of the concepts of like videography and music there, I want to just ask like, as you're moving along and doing more shows in the future, what's the dream show or dream concert you want to be a part of?
I think Ultra would be something really interesting to do because now, Spanish is now infusing a lot with electronic music. Yeah. So it's starting to become more of a thing now. So I'm that's in one of my works of this year. I do want to get into, I want to have an EDM song. I want to get into, collaborate with like an electronic producer and create something like that in Spanish. And that would be, if I could ever perform that song in Ultra, like that would be a milestone. That would be kind of like, because I've, been to Ultra since 2013. So it would be like kind of like, wow, like I'm on the other side now. So, I think it would be really, really cool.
I think that can definitely happen. It's coming up very shortly. So like maybe for next upcoming year and get that going, you never know. I could see it. I'm visualizing. We're visualizing and we're manifesting it here. Go. On These Are Questions. So let's go. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. That's awesome. And this has been a great interview, and I love our conversation that we're having here. I want to just ask, what's the best piece of musical advice that you can give for aspiring musicians, especially given your story that you started, left, and came back. I want to know what's the best piece of advice you can give to those aspiring creatives and musicians there.
Well, don't quit when it gets rough. I think that's where you have to really hold on to your your passion and
Mhm.
really like think like, hey, like this is really want to do, I'm gonna get through this and not let it go so easily. Like there's been so many times that I'm like, I wonder where I would be now if I didn't stop more than 10 years ago, if I had stopped, you know. So it's always like hold on tight to really hold on to the belief and just push through it. Just push through it. Like there's nothing, there can be worse. You know, there can be worse things happening. Don't let this be the reason why, you know, you won't be able to make your career. So it's just don't doubt yourself. If you doubt yourself, oh, stop. You can do it. You can do it. It's hard. No, nobody says it's easy. Being an entertainer or being in the industry is not easy. It's a lot of hard work. You have to be a hustler.
Yep.
If you're not willing on putting yourself or moving yourself like that, then you're going to have a really hard time. So you got to have thick skin.
And I agree with all of that statements there. It's not an easy profession. There's a lot of challenges, a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations, but there's a lot of beauty in that. And you can start, come back, start again. But as long as you have a consistency and a plan with it, you can make a lot of things happen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Agreed. Well, this has been a great interview. I just have one more question to ask you here on These Are Questions. And I wrote it down to make sure so, you know, I had the importance on there. The question I want to ask is that if you had a time machine, okay, and can travel in any direction, past or present, to take one item, if you're choosing any item, which time period would you go and what item would you take for the present day?
Whoa.
It's a loaded question. These are questions.
Wow. Okay. Honestly, I definitely want to travel to the future. I want to travel to, okay, so we're in 2025.
Yes.
So,
as of this recording, yes.
I want to travel to like 2040, 2050. I think by then, like how everything is developing with like AI and all these like different new technologies, I feel like there was this one post from Only in Day that I saw. It was like the future representation of like in the 2040s or something like that. And it just looked like the Jensens. Like, you know, like it just looked like things that I've seen in the past. And I'm like, wow, like, but like super predictable. Like, futuristic, I mean.
Yeah.
And the time where we can like actually like go to space, like if we're going to Disney, oh, let's go to space for the weekend, you know, like the actual space, not space the club.
No.
No overnighters here.
No.
And what I would take from, oh my God, one item?
Yes. And it could be anything. Anything that you see that's like, I want this.
Oh, man. I would have to, damn, this is hard. I would have to take.
No pressure.
Oh my God. I'm in between two things.
What are the two things now?
Nutella.
Future Nutella? Okay. That's the name of it, Future Nutella.
Then, my journal.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I can't have both, but I think the best decision would be like, you know, my journal where I have all my music.
Yeah. Not just your music, like hopefully as time goes on, more of your big productions, your videos, you kind of see like a future self, like what's going to happen in the future. And then you can just make sure they have Nutella somewhere in this there. So maybe.
I was like, what if Nutella doesn't exist in the future, you know?
I don't want to be in that future then. If it doesn't exist. If Nutella, no. Oh, no. Please, oh, no. Ooh. Either or is good, but I think the journal would be more prolific there, and it kind of gives you an idea of what you can do.
Yeah. The journal, for sure.
And at least you have Nutella now.
Yeah.
And you can, if you going in the future, right, you can't come back, you just save some for you. Like, we save a jar for the future.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then go over there and dig it up. There we go.
Time capsule.
There we go.
Time Nutella. Nutella time. Let's go. These are questions. I like that we went from musical aspirations and career endeavors to end off with Nutella. What a great way to end off the episode.
It's a very nice, sweet way to end it.
Ooh, because we're with two sweet people right here.
Yes.
Nathasha, it has been a pleasure interviewing you on These Are Questions. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I'm wishing you all the best in your music and creative endeavors. With that, the internet floor is yours. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want to say, anything you want to plug in, this is your time to shine. You have multiple cameras. You can go along with everything. My engineer will be upset with the right camera I say which one to go to. Thanks, shout out to the engineer.
Hey.
And I'm keeping that in too to stay in any episode. But anything you want to disclose, anything you want to talk about, the floor is yours. So take it away.
Okay, so definitely if this was already by Calle Ocho, I invite you guys to come see me on my Calle Ocho festival. But the only way you'll be able to know like the specific times is follow me on Instagram at Vocalitosh on all social media platforms, Nathasha Rumbos. And then definitely check out my latest single called Vete. It's a very nice Afro pop infusion song. And I took it out literally at the end of last year. And it's a very empowering song. It's basically talking about to not let the way people think about you, ruin you. Like if somebody tells you you're not good enough, you're not going to listen to that. You're going to prove them that you are better. You are more than enough, So it's a very inspiring song and I would love you guys to look at it. The visuals, I did this collaboration with Zaint, which is a Venezuelan Afro artist. And we're going to perform this song for the first time ever live in Calle Ocho. So that's all I want to talk about. Vete and the Calle Ocho Festival, and follow me on Instagram. And, there's a lot of cool things coming up in the future. So be looking at everything because I have a little salsa happening, a little bachata cooking up. So there's going to be a lot of different rhythms this year for Nathasha.
Let's go. Different rhythms, different seasons. We're going to make it happen here. These are questions. Thank you so much for your time, Nathasha. I'm going to put all of Nathasha's information in the descriptions down below for our viewers that are watching on youtube.com and our listeners listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. We really do appreciate your time and effort for being a part of These Are Questions. Thank you to the studio for hosting our episode. Thank you to the audio engineer. We're keeping him in. He's awesome. With that, all I have to say is that you have been watching / listening to These Are Questions. Have a good night, everyone. Or good afternoon. Or good morning. I don't know when you're watching this. You could be watching this at Calle Ocho. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe, while you're listening to Nathasha's performance. Have the video out watching that and be like, wow, this is awesome. Just saying.
The future.
The future is Nutella.
Yes.
Yes.